Welcome, everyone, to today's deep dive. We're going to be delving into the life of Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad. We have some excerpts from a scholarly book
Yeah.
about her life, and we're hoping to, unpack what made her such a remarkable figure and why she's continued to inspire people for centuries and centuries.
Yeah, it's interesting. What's really fascinating to me is that her life wasn't just extraordinary because of her lineage. She was the daughter of the prophet, but she really carved out her own path that continues to inspire people today and especially within the academic community as well.
Absolutely. So let's start with her upbringing. She was born in Mecca 5 years after the Prophet Muhammad started his prophetic mission. So can you imagine growing up in a household where divine revelation was just the backdrop of everyday life?
Yeah, it's crucial to understand that context. Fatima wasn't just passively observing, you know? Her childhood unfolded during the very genesis of Islam. She saw firsthand the challenges, the resistance, the persecution the early Muslims faced. And this undoubtedly had a profound impact on her character.
Absolutely. And then there's also the influence of her mother, Khadijah. She
Mhm.
wasn't just the prophet's wife, but she was a successful businesswoman in her own right and really a pillar of strength for the nascent Muslim community. How do you think that example shaped Fatima's development?
I think Khadijah's influence is undeniable. She was a woman of tremendous faith and resilience who managed to, navigate the social and economic landscape of Mecca. And Fatima would have witnessed her mother's strength, her intelligence, her unwavering support for the Prophet. It's hard to imagine a more formative role model for her.
Right. It's really fascinating to think about all of these experiences and how they shaped her into the woman she became. And of course, we have to talk about her relationship with her father. The Prophet Muhammad clearly adored her. He gave her these affectionate nicknames like az-Zahra, which means the radiant one, and al-Kawthar, which refers to a river in paradise.
And these weren't just terms of endearment. They reveal a deep spiritual connection, a recognition of Fatima's exceptional qualities.
Hmm.
The prophet saw in her a reflection of divine light, a purity of spirit that earned her these special titles.
And there's this beautiful anecdote that really illustrates that bond between them. The Prophet once saw Fatima wearing a gold necklace, which was a gift from someone, and he gently reminded her that true adornment comes from piety and not outward displays of wealth.
Hmm.
And it's such a simple act, but it speaks volumes about the values that he instilled in her.
Absolutely. I mean, it highlights the emphasis on, inner virtue over material possessions, which is a principle that Fatima clearly embraced throughout her life.
Yeah,
And it's a powerful message that resonates even today, especially in a world that's often obsessed with external appearances.
right. And this focus on inner virtue, it shines through in everything we know about Fatima.
Hmm.
She was known for her unwavering faith, her deep piety, her commitment to helping others. In fact, people called her a Siddiqa, which means the truthful one, due to her unwavering honesty and integrity.
And it's important to understand that her faith wasn't simply a private matter. It was interwoven with her daily life, her actions, her interactions with others. And we see this in her dedication to prayer, her commitment to charity, her constant striving for spiritual growth.
Hmm. Let's delve into that a little bit. The sources mention her daily supplications, her deep connection with the divine. These weren't just routine rituals for her, though, were they?
No, not at all. Her supplications reveal a profound spiritual depth, a longing for closeness to God. We see expressions of gratitude, pleas for guidance, invocations for healing, reflections on the nature of existence. And they offer us a glimpse into her inner world, her understanding of her relationship with the divine.
It's like we're invited into her personal conversations with God in a way. You can sense her sincerity and her humility and her just deep-seated faith. And speaking of impactful relationships, her marriage to Ali, the Prophet's cousin and close companion, was a pivotal moment in her life.
Yeah, this wasn't just a union of two individuals, it was a merging of two powerful spiritual lineages. And Ali, known for his wisdom, courage, and devotion to Islam, was considered by many to be the ideal partner for Fatima.
And what's interesting is that, several prominent companions sought Fatima's hand in marriage. But the Prophet indicated that this union was divinely ordained. It wasn't, a matter of social or political maneuvering.
Right.
It was a pairing meant for a higher purpose.
Precisely. And the Prophet himself said to Fatima about Ali, I have married you to a master in this life and a master in the afterlife.
Wow.
And this statement reflects the deep respect and admiration he had for Ali and underscores the spiritual significance of their union.
Yeah, and it's clear that they were deeply devoted to one another, and their lifestyle really reflected their shared values. Live simply focusing on their faith and service to the community rather than material possessions. They were partners in the truest sense, supporting each other through the triumphs and trials that lay ahead.
And their commitment to Islamic principles and their unwavering support for each other created this powerful dynamic that would have a lasting impact not only on their own lives, but on the future of Islam itself.
And of course, we can't talk about Fatima without discussing her role as a mother. She had two sons, Hasan and Husayn, both of whom would become incredibly important figures in Islamic history.
And Fatima's dedication to her children is well documented. She instilled in them the same values she embodied: unwavering faith, compassion, and a commitment to justice. And the Prophet adored his grandsons, and it's clear from the sources that they were a very close family unit bound by love, respect, and shared faith. It was a nurturing environment where faith wasn't just taught, it was lived.
And I think that's a key point. Fatima wasn't just teaching her sons about Islam in an abstract sense. They were witnessing her deep devotion, her commitment to prayer, her acts of charity, her interactions with the community. They were learning by her example.
Exactly. And it's this lived experience of faith that would have a profound impact on Hassan and Hussein. They would carry their mother's legacy with them, shaping their own paths and ultimately influencing the development of Islamic thought and practice.
So we're seeing Fatima as a daughter, a wife, a mother, all roles she fulfilled with incredible grace and strength. But her life wasn't without its challenges. After the death of her father, she faced a number of trials, both personal and political, that tested her resilience and revealed her unwavering commitment to truth and justice.
And these later experiences are incredibly revealing. They offer insights not just into Fatima's character, but into the complexities of early Islamic society and the challenges faced by those who sought to uphold the Prophet's vision.
One of the most significant events in Fatima's later life is the dispute over her inheritance of Fadak, which was an estate that she believed her father had gifted her. And this wasn't simply a personal matter. It became a focal point for larger questions about leadership, legitimacy, and the interpretation of the Prophet's will.
Yeah, and what's particularly compelling about the Fadak episode is that it reveals Fatima's deep understanding of Islamic principles and her willingness to challenge those in power even when facing immense opposition.
And she didn't back down. She delivered this powerful sermon, directly addressing those who contested her claim. And it's still studied today for its eloquence, its sharp critique of injustice, and its insights into the socio-political dynamics of the time.
Yeah, this wasn't just a legal argument, it was a moral one. Fatima connected her claim to Fadak to larger principles of justice, fairness, and the rightful inheritance of the Prophet's legacy. She wasn't simply advocating for herself, she was defending the rights of all those who felt marginalized or dispossessed.
Right? And her courage in speaking truth to power, even at a time of great personal vulnerability, it really highlights her character. She didn't remain silent in the face of what she perceived as injustice. She chose to act, to speak out, to defend her rights and the principles she held dear.
Yeah, and it's a testament to her unwavering faith and her belief that Islamic principles should be applied in all spheres of life, including governance and the distribution of resources. For her, faith wasn't just about personal piety, it was about building a just and equitable society.
And it's fascinating how her sermon offers a glimpse into early Islamic legal thought. She argued her case using Quranic verses, prophetic traditions, and historical precedents, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of Islamic jurisprudence.
Absolutely. Her arguments highlight the complexity of early Islamic legal discourse and the diverse interpretations that were circulating at the time. It wasn't a monolithic system. There was room for debate, for different perspectives, even for women to engage in legal argumentation.
Unfortunately, despite her compelling arguments, Fatima's claim to Fadak was ultimately denied. And this must have been a profoundly difficult experience, both personally and politically.
It's hard to imagine the depth of her disappointment. Not only was she denied what she believed to be her rightful inheritance, but she also saw her father's legacy being interpreted in a way that she felt was unjust. And this period marked a turning point in early Islamic history, one fraught with tensions and competing visions for the future.
And this experience, coupled with the immense grief of losing her father, it must have been incredibly painful. The sources describe this period as one of great sadness for Fatima.
Yeah, there's a sense that she felt a deep sense of loss, not just for her father personally, but for the vision of an Islamic community based on justice, equality, and compassion that she believed he had embodied. The Fadak episode symbolized a larger struggle for the soul of Islam, a struggle that would continue to play out for centuries to come.
And even amidst these challenges, Fatima never wavered in her faith. It was her anchor, her source of strength, her guiding light.
And her unwavering faith wasn't about blind acceptance. It was about actively engaging with the divine, seeking guidance, solace, and strength in the face of adversity. And her supplications from this period are particularly poignant, reflecting her inner struggles, her longing for justice, and her unwavering trust in God's ultimate plan.
Her story is a reminder that even figures revered within religious traditions face real challenges, experience moments of profound disappointment, and grapple with difficult questions. It makes her all the more human, all the more relatable.
And it speaks to the universality of her message. You know, her struggles weren't unique to her time or place. They reflect the enduring human search for meaning, purpose, and justice in a world that can often feel unfair and unpredictable.
So we've explored Fatima's life, from her extraordinary upbringing in a household of revelation to her marriage to Ali, her role as a devoted mother, her unwavering faith in the face of adversity, and her courageous stand for justice. It's a story that continues to inspire scholars and everyday people alike centuries after she lived. But what makes her so revered? What aspects of her life resonate most deeply with people today?
I think it's the combination of her spiritual depth, her unwavering commitment to justice, and her remarkable courage in standing up for what she believed in. Even when facing powerful opposition, she embodies a set of values that transcend time and place: compassion, integrity, faith in action, and the pursuit of a more just and equitable world.
A powerful legacy, one that continues to inspire people to live lives of meaning and purpose. And her story reminds us that faith isn't passive, it's a call to engage with the world, to challenge injustice, to work towards a better future for all. She may have lived centuries ago, but her message remains incredibly relevant today.
And what's fascinating from a scholarly perspective is that her life offers a window into the complexities of early Islamic history, the diverse interpretations of Islamic law and governance, and the challenges faced by those who sought to uphold the Prophet's vision in the years following his death. Her story isn't just about personal piety, it's about the struggle to shape the very identity and direction of the Muslim community.
It's a reminder that history isn't a neat and tidy narrative. It's messy, filled with competing perspectives, power struggles, and the enduring human quest for justice and meaning. And figures like Fatima, with their complexities and contradictions, challenge us to delve deeper, to question assumptions, and to engage with the past in all its richness and nuance. You know, it really strikes me that Fatima's life, though relatively short, had such a profound impact, especially on Muslim women. How do you see her legacy resonating within the Islamic tradition, particularly from a scholarly perspective?
You know, her influences is multifaceted. You know, Fatima is revered as this paragon of virtue, embodying piety, generosity, courage, and an unwavering faith. But she's not just a symbol. Her life provides tangible examples of how these qualities can be lived out.
Right.
Her actions speak as loudly as her words.
And it's important to emphasize that, she's admired not just because she was the Prophet's daughter. Her legacy is really built on her own merits, her own character, her own unwavering commitment to her faith and her principles.
Absolutely, and her intellectual contributions are often overlooked. Fatima was a first-hand witness to revelation, to the Prophet's teachings, to the formation of the early Muslim community. And her understanding of the Quran and the Sunnah, the Prophet's practices, are incredibly valuable to scholars today.
She was essentially a living link to that pivotal moment in history, providing insights that we wouldn't have otherwise. And her interpretations and reflections add depth and nuance to our understanding of early Islam.
Yeah, and beyond the historical significance, her life offers these timeless lessons. You know, we see the importance of living your values, of standing up for justice, of finding strength and faith during times of adversity. These are universal themes that resonate with people across cultures and time periods.
Fatima's story is a powerful reminder that faith isn't just about rituals or dogma. It's about how you live your life, how you treat others, how you face challenges, and how you contribute to making the world a better place.
And her example has inspired generations of scholars to delve deeper into the complexities of early Islamic history, to explore the nuances of Islamic law and governance, to critically examine the different interpretations of the Prophet's message.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what key takeaway would you leave our listeners with? What should we be reflecting on? What questions should we be asking ourselves?
I think Fatima's life challenges us to consider how faith can be a catalyst for action, how spirituality can fuel our pursuit of justice. And it's a reminder that even figures revered within religious traditions were complex individuals who faced real struggles. And by studying their lives, we gain not just historical knowledge, but inspiration and guidance for our own journeys.
Beautifully said. I think it's also worth pondering how Fatima's example might guide us in navigating the complexities of our own time. How can we embody that same spirit of courage, compassion, and commitment to justice in a world that often feels far removed from the values she championed?
It's a question worth pondering, and one that I hope our listeners will continue to explore. Fatima's story doesn't offer easy answers, but it provides a framework for approaching these questions with wisdom, integrity, and a deep commitment to making the world a more just and compassionate place.
Thank you so much for this insightful deep dive. It's left me with a lot to think about, and I hope our listeners feel the same. I encourage everyone to seek out more detailed accounts of Fatima's life and teachings. Her story has so much to offer, both intellectually and spiritually. And as we move forward, let's remember the lessons we've learned, the questions we've raised, and the inspiration we've gained from this remarkable woman who, though she lived centuries ago, continues to speak to us across time and space. Thanks for joining us.